Hello, this is Laura from Connected Child. I'm a behaviour specialist, a communication specialist. Most of all, I'm a parent. And I'm here to support other parents to navigate this incredible world of parenting. I have a 12-year-old, and yesterday, last 2 days actually, something really interesting happened, and it's interesting in hindsight and lovely to be on the other side of it. But at the time it wasn't very comfortable. I got a call from the school. She wasn't happy. She'd been invited to talk to the support team, the child support team. And being a new school, I didn't know what the routine was, but I was very grateful that they picked up that she wasn't okay. And in she went, and they tried to find out what was wrong, and she wouldn't say anything. She just said to them, "Leave me alone. I can deal with it myself," and all of that. So she came home, and I'd known that there was an issue. I'd known there was an issue the day before because she wasn't okay, and I didn't know what it was. And I left. I took my hands off it because I think it's really important at the age of 12 to give them some space and to give them an opportunity to deal with their issues. It's so important. But I could also see that she was spending more and more time with her friends, and that's lovely because we've just moved here, and I was so grateful that she was able to spend actually a couple of hours after school with her neighbour and another friend of hers, and they were able to walk around the village. I mean, how glorious is that in this beautiful sunshine? And so that was fine, but she was avoiding me. I could feel there was a lot going on under the surface, so I was just watching. And then she came home the next day, I've had this phone call from the school saying she wasn't okay. And she wouldn't say what it was. And so what I wanted to share with you was the way I dealt with it and the result that I got. So like I said, I like to give her space now to give herself time. She needs time. She has her own room. She can go away and think about things, and she likes to turn on her music, and it's one of her ways of losing herself and finding a place of rest, a place of enjoyment, just sheer pleasure. She loves listening to music and singing and moving. So I did that for a day, and then the next day I thought, too much time with friends, it never really works. It's what Neufeld talks about as peer orientation, and there's one thing about staying with friends, but there's another thing about having the friends sort out the problems. And what I noticed about her was that she was sort of stewing in it all, in a kind of like an infection gets worse. It didn't feel like her spending time with friends was relieving the issue, because if it was, then she would have been able to connect with me again instead of pushing me away. So I felt like that was a sign for her to spend less time with friends and more time with me. Not to avoid friends, but just to have some kind of quality time again and reconnect, because I could feel this sensation of losing her. But because we've got such a strong relationship, I knew it wouldn't be like, it's not a complete loss. It was more of a disconnect. I could feel it. So I invited her, and we talked, we had a meal together, and little by little she opened up. And little by little I found out what it was without prying. I just gave this lovely warm invitation for her to share with me how she was feeling, not so much about what was going on, but she did. And as I gave more space to that, the more she said. And really what I did was not doing. What I did was holding the space, showing her that, in fact, I'm probably her best bet. In fact, I am her best bet. And I didn't say this, but children are not each other's best bet. Children are immature. They have immature brains. They cannot realistically grow each other up. They cannot hold space for each other in the way that an adult can do. And if they are, then they're kind of it seems a bit extreme to say this, but when children are growing each other up, when children are relying on each other, when there is that intensity about it, and when they don't default to the parent, when they're relying totally on each other, when there is really this phenomenon called peer orientation, when there really is that going on, that's Lord of the Flies. That is when children are growing each other up, and they just won't grow up that way. They can only grow up as far as the person who is maturer than they are. They can only reach a higher level if they are around higher levels. That's my opinion anyway, and that's what I see in her. So little by little she opened up, and then really it just shifted. This morning she just went to school. Oh my gosh, the lightness about it, it was just fabulous. And that's when I knew that, yeah, that was it. And then today I've just had this lovely day because I've been less worried about her. You know, we take up so much time and energy, well I do, worrying about our children, in my case one, you know, worrying about them. And in fact, we have a lot of work to do for ourselves. So here I am, finally, on beautiful Dartmoor, on the most incredible day at the end of September in England. And I just wanted to share this with you because this is partly what I love about England. Look at that. What can you say? Just what can you say? It is really glorious here. So, happy mum, hopefully happy child when she gets back from school today, and looking forward to hearing any of your comments, or hope that you enjoyed my video. See you soon.